Well, hey there, and hello, and welcome to the bedroom of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost. Here we are, we're just advancing through the Leo zodiac period. And let me tell you, folks, I'm excited. We have some dynamic personalities in here, and I ain't fooling. And let's start us off with another one for August 5th, the day of Resolute Composure. And here we have us an image or a drawing, if you like, of a man on... Oh, is it going to focus for us? Oh, it's maybe not. Here, let's draw it in there. There, it's a little bit better. A man on parallel bars in between a crescent moon. I don't know if you can see it, but you can imagine it the way I described it, right? That's right. If anything, that requires resolute composure. That's right. Hey, is it August 5th and it's your birthday today? Well, if it is, I just want to extend to you a heartfelt happy birthday. And if you're finding this video long or shortly after your birthday has already come and gone, well, I hope you had a happy birthday. All right, that's why I'm doing this, to wish you a happy birthday. But we're going to get into the weeds of it, all right? That's right. Okay, for everyone else who's just joining us, I want to say welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. But first, before we get started, let's roll some dice. That's right, this is the Diecast birthday cast, so let's live up to the namesake, shall we? And why else? For synchronicity's sake. That is correct. And we rolled us. What do we get? What do we get? I gotta get them lined up here for you. A 5 and a 2. That's right. 4. 7, I believe. That's how the math works out. 2 in the crown, 5 in the root for 7. You know, I feel like that's what we rolled yesterday, but hey, who knows? Oh, it's August 5th and we rolled this a 5. Hoo-wee! You like that? You like them numbers there? All right. Hey, so what synchronicity, some of you might be wondering? Well, as far as I know, it's just opening ourselves up to the universe, putting us on a path. You don't necessarily have to go by my numbers, just that's the intention for you folks whose birthday it is and who's joining us randomly, even if it's long after August 5th. There's a here for you today, all right? So what's an example I can think of? What did I think of? Oh, yeah, so let's say you're at the supermarket, right? And you got your numbers, you're 5 and 2, 4, 7. Maybe let's play some Keno. Yeah, I know there's like 20 numbers with Keno, though I haven't played it myself. But hey, you throw in the 5, the 2, and the 7. And you're just itching to make at least your dollar back, right? Well, hey, it turns out none of those numbers showed up. Oh, what's this? These were supposed to be my numbers, weren't they? This guy promised me. I didn't promise nothing. Just let me get that out there right quick. Hey, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, all right? I know you're looking out for them numbers, but you was putting those numbers down. You got to be looking out for them, all right? But maybe you doing all that put you in a certain timetable there. Like I said, normally you wouldn't have stopped for no Keno. You would have been out the door of the grocery and on to, bagging up things in the back of the cart there. But hey, you waited 5 minutes there. Ooh, the 5. What else? You get outside and what do you see? Oh, there's the number 7 bus. Well, your car's in the parking lot. Hey, why not get on a bus till the next stop? It is the number 7. You got time, right? Hit it. It's only a couple blocks back. You never know. It's those kinds of things. You saw the 5, get on it. You saw the 7, get on it. Just open yourself up to the universe, putting things into your path. That's all it is. And if anything, it's a new experience. It's your birthday. It's time for some fun. There's nothing else going on, right? Well, hopefully there is, but sometimes there ain't. Sometimes birthdays is a little bit rote, aren't they? That's right. But hey, hopefully this turns it all around. Not necessarily the numbers, but me reading to you. That's right. Okay, hey, let's dive in with your birthday, okay? Your month is August. Your day is the 5th. Your sign is 11 to 13 degrees Leo of the Leo 2 period specifically. And your quality and element is fixed fire. That's right. August 5th, the day of resolute composure. And let me just scratch my eye here for a minute, because I'm not an August 5 person with composure. All right. Those born on August 5th are able to carry through their decisions with great resolve, steadfastness, and determination. Although those born on this day may be of an emotional nature, they display a remarkable mastery over their feelings and accomplish their ends in a natural and easy fashion. But though August 5 people maintain a cool and unflappable exterior, it is not as easy as it looks for them to do so. Indeed, it can be a bit like sitting on a volcano. Most born on this day discover at some point that their level of success is in direct proportion to their ability to control and direct their mental energy and to stay on an even keel. Although most August 5 people are mentally oriented, there is no denying the tremendous physical prowess granted to these gifted people. Such natural advantages may be squandered or misused, however, if their willpower is lacking. A tendency towards violence that so often accompanies this day must be sublimated into creative endeavors, particularly in the case of August 5 males. In fact, the aggression of August 5 people in general should be directed at an early age into competitive sports and physical activities of all kinds. Chess, video, card, and word games may serve as an outlet for their combative tendencies. When August 5 people explode in anger, it is not at all pleasant to watch. It is worse yet to be the target of their rage. And usually, however, the more highly evolved born on this day become aware of the damage, both physically and psychologically, that their anger inflicts, and evolve to a higher state of consciousness, particularly in their 30s or 40s, at which time they begin to show more consideration of others. Particularly in friendships and romance, those born on this day may suffer for many years before learning how to relate to loved ones in a truly caring way. August 5 people need the freedom to act quickly, to carry out decisions without constraint, and therefore they must always retain a measure of independence and individual initiative, even in the company of a group setting. This is not to suggest that those born in this day are uncooperative or difficult to work with. It is just that they are happiest when leading, excelling, and striving for the common good. Gentleness and kindness ultimately prove very important to the dynamic people born on this day. Perhaps touched by the consideration and generosity of an important figure in their youth, they will so admire that person that they seek to honor or even emulate them. In their early years, August 5 people are usually preoccupied with intense desires and passions, but as time passes, realize the importance of affection and begin to express it openly and unashamedly. Always a bit rough around the edges, August 5 people will nonetheless mellow considerably as they approach old age, and those who are cantankerous may become quite lovable. Well, I'll say this was another dynamic and interesting day. You Leo folks, boy, you got me stumped here, because some of these other days, they don't quite measure up, I'll be quite honest. And that's nothing against other folks, but maybe it's just, I don't know, this is such a unique period of the zodiac. Who's to say? Or maybe the authors just doubled down. I don't know. But hey, what do I have to say about the breakdown here? Well, let's just refer to the notes that I worked so diligently on, all right? Carrying through on decisions with steadfast resolve and determination. Now, I don't know if that means anything to you, but it means something to me. And why is that? And it should mean something to you, because those are words that are often and more often than not printed on military warrants or medal paperwork there. I'm serious here. What is it? Mind you, the word devotion usually follows steadfast, but it's close enough, right? I'm telling you, they wrote this thing up. Sounded like a military warrant. I was like, oh shoot, here we go. All right, what else we got here? An emotional figure with control over their feelings? Question mark. Another admirable quality. Control over your feelings, all right? And they spoke of the struggle that you face in constantly, or the struggle you face in containing your hidden volatility and the difficulty that comes with keeping it controlled. And it made me think about how much we don't necessarily realize or understand what other people might be going through just to get themselves out in the world, let alone out of bed in the morning, all right? So keep up the good fight. We might not understand your struggle, but you do. And so that's your struggle. You just got to keep up with it, all right? What else we got here? No one may appreciate your composure because they don't realize you're doing it, but it may appear like you're just going through the everyday motions. I basically said that. But take solace in knowing that they would if they knew what could happen otherwise, all right? Assuming the volatile nature they mentioned is applicable. All right, again, if it applies, let's see. Because if I were to speak for people in general, which I'm not saying I am, but I will in this instance, I'd argue that no one wants to bear witness to the rage or explosive anger of anyone, nor, of an empathetic note here, want you to go through it yourself. But as looked down upon as the idea of cantankerous or rough around the edges people are, it is also interesting part of your character. So don't just dismiss it or take it as a bad note. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have that as a character trait. It's not necessarily undesirable. It gives you a little bit of that color, if you like, all right? Just maybe be mindful of the amount you put into the so-called recipe here. Like any hot and spicy peppers one might add to a salsa you put out for a party. You don't want to ruin people's good time, right? So just maybe make it a mild or a piquant, or how they say it. I don't know. The one that's above mild, medium, I guess. All right, you don't want that hot and spicy salsa at the party there. It's gonna blow up somebody. All right, hey, let's dive in with your numbers and your planets. Those born on the 5th of the month are ruled by the number 5 and by the speedy planet Mercury. By the speedy planet Mercury. And since Mercury represents quickness of thought and change, August 5 people already affected by the sun's hot impulses through its rulership of Leo might find themselves likely, particularly in their youth, mind you, to make rash decisions and to change their minds with great regularity. Whatever hard knocks or pitfalls those ruled by the number 5 encounter in life, they usually recover quickly. And the sun's influence augments this capacity to bounce back. All right, so maybe stay off the number 5 bus if you see it looking for those numbers. But number 7 was all right? Oh yeah, or the number 2 for that matter. All right, hey, let's see what I had to say about your numbers and your planets. Okay, where are we at here? Quickness of thought and change, and it's influenced by the sun. Quickness of thought being the planet Mercury. I say be mindful of vacillating changes of thought. Follow through at least on some thoughts, all right? You can frustrate other folks, or you can frustrate folks otherwise, all right? And be careful you don't land on a rash decision just for the sake of doing so. I think they kind of said that too there. Either way, it sounds as though you have a penchant to bounce back. So perhaps the more failures you experience, the further ahead of your contemporaries and or wiser you'll be in the long run. So just get out there and be willing to fail. And be willing to experiment, all right? Because you're going to bounce back, it sounds like. Maybe better than the rest of us. All right, let's dive in to your tarot. The more eclectic of the metaphysical practices by my mind, but it's fun, it's free, it's in the book. So let's dive in, see what it has to say. The 5th card of the major arcana, is the Hierophant, an interpreter of sacred mysteries who is symbolic of human understanding and faith. His knowledge is esoteric and he has authority over things unseen. And favorable traits conferred by this card are self-assuredness and insight. Unfavorable traits include moralizing, bombast, and dogmatism. And they list here, this isn't a copy-paste job with this next line, again emphasizing the need for August 5 people to be more accepting of others. So what did I have to say about your tarot? You know, I was a little stumped on this one for a while there. I sat with the notes for some time trying to figure out what to say. And I wrote just a little bit. Let's get to it here. I wonder which trait they are trying to emphasize relates to a need to be more accepting of others. Dogmatism, I had to look that word up just to be sure. It's a kind of an arrogant advancement of your ideas. A lot of times faith-based, but I suppose it doesn't necessarily have to have that ingredient. And I suppose this might be a concern if you're in a authoritarian leadership role. See, that came to me kind of late in the game here. I was just more of a mind your potentially angry side might be what they were referring to. But it didn't, because that seemed to be the driving concern in the breakdown. But I think it might be the leadership role there. So be mindful the way you treat people. I think they said that. At least the people you're in command of specifically. And I suppose that's just a natural thing we should be thinking about anyway, right? Just would have been nice for them to better point that out with a word or two for the folks like me who have a hard time putting things together there. That's what I'd say about your numbers and your planets. And like I said, they put that last line in there just for you. Sometimes it's just a copy-paste job. All right, let's get in with your health. Let's see what they have to say about your health here. Generally speaking, August 5 people recognize the importance of keeping their bodies in good shape. Some born in this day, however, are more interested in augmenting strength or beauty than they are in improving their inner health. Smoking, drinking, and compulsive eating are the most common pitfalls for them, and they must try to exercise the same control in regard to these vices as they do with their emotions. Without compromising their love of eating, August 5 people should be able to make healthier food choices. Taking up cooking is a great help. Most forms of physical exercise are attractive to those born on this day, and competitive sports may prove an excellent outlet for aggressive tendencies. I'm reading ahead a little bit, and it's mixing me up today. That's excellent and aggressive. Excellent is what I get for that one. All right. Hey, let's dive into what I had to say about your health and see what other words I mess up here. And I think they said, I just noticed that. They have talked about you maybe taking some competitive sports there for your aggression. They said that earlier. In your youth, I think they mentioned. Let's see here. Oh, crazy I was putting that together. I don't normally work that way. Some of you are interested in augmenting your strength and your beauty, it says. Well, why wouldn't you be, right? Maybe the concern should be, why aren't the rest of us, okay? That said, every pitfall they listed for those of you concerned over the augments were pitfalls that ran counter to achieving those gains, specifically in beauty and strength, which was smoking, drinking, and eating. So I thought there was a little bit of a disconnect there. It didn't seem to make any sense. Anyhow, maybe I'm just missing the connective tissue there. But here's what I had to say after that. So take care of your diet, even if you're trying to get strong and beautiful, I guess. And find a good outlet for your aggression. Like powerlifting. That's right. You gotta get that strength up. Get that beauty going. Okay, let's dive in with some advice. Increase your knowledge and understanding of people and come to value affection and kindness. Let up a bit on the demands you make of yourself and others, and learn to express your feelings in a socially acceptable and constructive way. Ooh, quick, down, and dirty, right to the point. Let's see, learn some diplomacy and empathy, I guess. Don't take your baggage out on others. That is, unless they're the ones that packed it, I say. That's right. But even then, maybe just file a claim, or however that translates in the metaphor. Yeah, I like that one. I like that metaphor, that little baggage metaphor, as if you was at the airline, for those of you who weren't 5 miles ahead of me on that. Okay, let's dive in with your meditation. Though a million miles away, the sun touches our very skin. Once again, though a million miles away, the sun touches our very skin. There you go. I'm not going to try and translate that for you. That's your meditation for your birthday. Sometimes I do. It's just if I have a cool thought about it. But I think that one is something you'll be able to put together. You don't need my input. Oh yeah, there's your meditation. Let's move on to your strengths and your weaknesses. Your strengths, you're directed, you're dignified, you're unflappable. Your weaknesses, you're combative, repressed. You ready for this one? Deep breath. Overly nonverbal. Okay. Strong silent type, I guess. There. All right. They didn't say much about that. Self-contained, I suppose. All right. The day of resolute composure, perhaps. All right. Hey, let's dive in with those born on this day so we can see what kind of lottery we drew, what kind of company we keep, or at least that you keep, right? I also figured, maybe if we recognize some of these folks, we can, and we We can recognize them as pop culture icons. We can say, oh, I recognize that. Hey, they made a success for themselves. Or, hey, they really joshed things up there. Maybe I might want to see where I'm headed if I don't stay on the right path there. If I don't follow my numbers. All right, you ready? All right, those born on this day. We got John Huston, who was the Irish-American master film director of The Treasure of Sierra Madre, African Queen, and The Man Who Would Be King. He was also an actor and a producer, apparently. And we also have the Moon Man himself, Neil Armstrong. Now, he was a strong and silent type, and if I can digress for a moment, he knew what was going on in his head, right? But he wouldn't say it until he was sure and he had thought out what might come at him if he didn't think it through. So he didn't say things until he knew exactly what he wanted to say. And some people thought he was a little slow because of it. But they knew different once they got to know him, and they saw that as a driving strength. So maybe that's a good example of those born on this day. That's right. We also have, and if you don't know who Neil Armstrong was, he was a U.S. astronaut and the first man on the moon. All right. We have Guy de Mazepin. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I get the French ones mixed up. We got the French short story writer. We have Conrad Aiken, a Pulitzer Prize-winning poet. Ruth Sawyer, a children's writer, storyteller, and wrote Roller Skates. We also have Robert Taylor, film actor. We also have Patrick Ewing, New York Knicks basketball center, and a 3-time All-American U.S. Olympic Dream Team gold medalist. We also have Herb Brooks, potentially, an NHL hockey coach, guided U.S. amateur team to shocking upset and Olympic gold. We have Roman Gabriel, the football quarterback, NFL Player of the Year, and 201 career touchdown passes. We have Miriam Rothschild, a world-leading expert on fleas and defense poisons of insects. That's interesting. And a biographer. And she wrote or is responsible for Dear Lord Rothschild. We have Max Liebman, TV producer, Wendell Berry, the poet, novelist, and short story writer of The Wild Birds. We have John Saxon, film actor, Princess Irene of the Netherlands, Geraldine Stutz, a fashion coordinator, Magan, President Henry Bangel. I'm not quite sure. This is all mashed in on the parentheticals, so hey. Let's just shrug my shoulders on that one. We got Sidney Omar, who was an astrologer. We got Harold Holt, was an Australian prime minister and sent troops to Vietnam. We have Jacquetta Hawkes, a British archaeologist and writer of A Land. We have Lonnie Anderson, the TV actress, and Ila Repin, the Russian critical realist painter. Ooh, did you recognize some of them? Well, I gave you some information on at least one of them, if you remember there. So, hey. What else we got in store? Well, this is where I take us out. Your season is summer, your sign once again, the strong lion Leo of the Leo 2 period specifically. And your quality and elements is fixed fire. That's right. And this has been August 5th, the day of Resolute Composure from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost Elvers. I got an affiliate link for this big old book down in the description. I'm telling you. Go get you a copy and dive in and find out these other personality types. And if anything else, it makes a great coffee table book. And when you have company over, you need to get that ice broke, get some of those introverts out of their shells and those extroverts back into them. Break this out. Get the conversation started. You're gonna get to know people, and you're gonna have some fun. I guarantee it. All right. Any event, today was your birthday. I just want to once again wish you happy birthday. For everyone else who joined us out of curiosity, I hope you enjoyed yourself, enjoyed yourself, and that you come back for your birthday reading. And once again, folks, your numbers 2 and a 5, 4, 7. You get out there and let the universe speak to you. Take care of yourselves.